Okay guys, what I'm going to do today is show you guys how to release a Flutter app to the Google Play Store or publish a Flutter app to the Google Play Store. The reason why we're doing that is there's a small bug in the Flutter Feeds Me app in which we can sometimes show duplicate events. You can see here we've got this event twice and this event twice. And the issue is actually in the Cloud Firestore. We are inserting the event twice because there was a bug with the app that inputs the events into Cloud Firestore. So anyways, we're going to go through the Flutter docs on how to prepare and release an app for the Play Store. So the first thing it mentions is to edit the application tag to reflect the final name of the app and to remove the internet permission if you're not using it. So the way that we would do that is we would open up our Flutter app in whatever tool that we would use, and we would go and open up our app directory and then source, and this is under the Android folder or directory. Open up your Android manifest. Another quick way to do this is to type Shift and just type Android manifest. And there's quite a few that come up there, so that's probably not the best way. But if you see the one that is under the Android directory, Android app, or the app directory, I didn't realize there were that many in this project, but I guess this is probably the most surefire way to do it. But so anyways, go into your Android manifest, and your label is what you probably want to change. This is the name of the app that will show up in the recents as well as the launcher, and then your logo. You can set your icon right here, and we're just using a simple logo that we have as part of our project. And you can see it here. It's in our drawable directory, and we reference that as @drawable/ and then the name of our logo. And you don't need to include the .png. Okay, so that's, and then we use the internet permission, so we're not going to remove it. So the next thing it asks us to do is to check out our default config in our build.gradle file in our app directory. And so we're going to go to our app directory, and then you can see we've got a build.gradle file. And it wants us to check our compile SDK version and our min SDK version and target SDK version. The versions that are default in a Flutter project are perfectly fine. Unless you have a compelling reason to change those, don't even worry about them. The other thing you're going to want to look at is your version code and your version name. Your version code, it doesn't really matter what it is, but each time you publish to the Play Store, the version code needs to be at least one greater than the last version that you published with. And then your version name doesn't really matter. You can keep it 1.0 for 5 years, or you can change it 3 times a day. But it's just something like a human readable kind of name that you can give for your versioning. Okay, so those are kind of simple. We already went over adding a launcher icon and how to specify that. If you want to get into more details or into more detail with that, I recommend reading adding a launcher icon. The next thing that's important is when we publish to the Play Store, we are going to need to sign our apps. And so it goes through the instructions on how to create a key store. I already have a key store, and that is from another project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference that key store using a key.properties file. And I'll show you where that key.properties file is. So it's right here. It's under our app directory, which is inside our Android directory. I'm not going to open it up because it has the passwords in there, but I will show you what one would look like. It would just be a very simple file with the store password, the key alias, and then what those values would be, and then the location of your store file. And that store file doesn't even have to be inside your Android project. It can be anywhere on your computer as long as this reference is correct. And then one thing that I did, because this is an open source app, is I added Android key.properties to the ignore file, so that when I check in my project, I don't check in the key.properties, which would allow anyone to read the store password and the key password. So that's important. And then it goes through how to read those properties from the file. And so let's look at that. So we're going to go back to our build.gradle, and it's the one that's in our app directory. And here we have some basically Gradle commands here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to open our key.properties file. And I put in a check here in here to see if it exists, because on the build server that we're using on CircleCI, I don't, because it's an open source project, I don't check in this file, and so this file doesn't exist. And so then I say, if this file exists, let's create a properties object, and then let's load that properties object with the properties from our key store properties file, which is key.properties. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set our signing config. Our signing config. So we're going to create a signing config for release, and it's going to have the following keys set to these values from our key store properties. And if you don't need to do that, if your project isn't open source, then you can just simply replace this part here with this part here to set up your signing config. And you'll need this as well. So you'll need to replace your Android space open brace with these, and it's real easy. Just follow the instructions, and then you can see that because I've got this special logic here, I then set the signing config for the release build type to the release config. So yeah, that's what we do here. And we'll see if this works. Hopefully it will. It mentions enabling ProGuard. When I enable ProGuard, my app wouldn't run correctly. I've got some libraries that I don't think that these default ProGuard rules take into account. If you can follow these steps and your app works just fine, then I recommend using ProGuard. If you have the time to debug why your app doesn't build because ProGuard is enabled, then I would recommend using ProGuard as well. I just didn't have the time. Okay, so we're just going to do a really quick Flutter build, kdk-release, and I've got to do a, hopefully I've got it in my directory. So I've been building iOS app, so we'll do 477. And we'll just do this, check to see if it'll build. And while it's building, let's go fix our bug. So I think it's in events repository. It might be in database. Let's figure out where the best place. Okay, so we don't even want to duplicate or insert a duplicate record. So we're going to actually go to our remote data store. So let's go to our events repository. And so basically, when we get our events from Firestore, we create a Firestore events list, and then we return that. So what I actually want to do is, for each item in that list, I want to insert them into a map, and then all the duplicate events will just overwrite based on the key of the event ID. So each event has a unique ID. I need to make sure that we're actually collecting the ID here. I don't think we are here. But all the events have the same name. So what could do is if they have the same name and same date. Then we can remove them. Let's think here. What's the best way? Let's see here. Okay. It wouldn't hurt to grab the ID field here, but I really don't want to do that. So basically our model that we've created on the client has no idea of the ID that we have in Cloud Firestore. So I'll show you in our Cloud Firestore what we have here. And we have a bug here. And I think I know what it is. So right here we've got build signing config, build release signing config equals signing configs dot release config. And I think this can be released. So let's check. I got this from a Stack Overflow question. Basically, we had a build failure for some reason. Note, Gradle build failed to produce an Android package, but why? So let's check this out. So while our Firestore is loading, it's not going to load. It's got a bug on Firefox where it won't load. Okay, so they named theirs release config. We just call ours release. So we're going to update that to just be release. I had a feeling that was going to be a bug. So let's back this build out. And let's start another build. Okay. And let's think about, let me see if I can open this up in Chrome real quick. This is supposed to be just about publishing, but we need to find a way to fix our bug really quick. So I'm just going to open up the Firebase console in Chrome so we can figure out a good way to identify duplicate events so we can fix our bug and then publish to the Play Store. Hopefully this will build correctly while we're waiting. Come on, Google Firebase. So what I know we can do is we can do this. We can do events query. I was going to try to do something fancy, but we might not do it. So this is going to give us back a list of document snapshots. So I think we can do for each on the list. Maybe not. Okay. So let's do that. What is a for each syntax here? sync. You can see we've got similar. Okay. So we're going to create a new event. So we're going to do for each, and we're going to grab the document. So we're going to create a hash map up here. Hash map, and it's going to be string, comma, Austin feeds me event equals this hash map. Undefined class hash map. Yeah, I thought Dart had hash map. Do I need to? Oh, I need to import collection. Okay, so now we got collections, we got our hash map. So what we're going to do is we're going to do events, hash map, dot put. There we're going to do document. So it's actually going to be event. And hopefully we can get the same code going on here. Event. Let's check out what the name of our field is. I'm going to go to Firestore. So it's ID. So we're going to do put. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create an Austin feeds me event. And we're going to copy this. And you know what we can do? We can make this document. Now stuff's good. Document. Austin feeds me event. It doesn't like the push. Why? What is? Is there a put in hash map for Dart? Let's see, hash map class. Put if absent. I guess we could do put if absent. Interesting. Put, look up the value of key or add a new value if it isn't there. I guess that'll work. Okay, and so then what we're going to do is Firestore events equals, why is this upset? Austin feeds me event isn't a class? Are you sure? It looks like it is to me. We're getting off track here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pretend this bug is fixed, because I don't want to distract you all that are here for just learning how to publish to the store. So it failed to build the APK. Let's see if the app will build it all for the iPhone. And let's back out our events for this. So, okay, so let's turn that. Okay, so now this is all the same. Let's try to build. Okay, so one of the key things that we need to do when we're going to release is to basically update our version code. So we're going to update to 2 because we've already released 1. And then we're going to go and look at our release dash. We're going to go, next thing we need to do is, so while this is determining if it's going to build or not, let's go to the Play Store. And let's go to App Releases. And we're going to go to our production track because we're just going to skip straight to production. We're not going to run an alpha or a beta. We're going to create a release. And once this finishes building, we're going to drag our APK over here and release the file. So hopefully this will build correctly. It looks like the last time it tried to build, it took about 9.6 seconds. Or one time it took 64 seconds. So hopefully it'll work. We'll find out. If not, we'll need to troubleshoot why this isn't building. Failed to produce an Android package. Okay, so what I'm going to do here then is I'm going to basically back out this logic that I put in here. To check if a file exists. And I'm going to follow the exact directions here. So I'm going to open up and I'm going to replace the signing configs piece with this. And I'm going to move this outside of this because we should for sure have the file here because we validated it with our own eyes. And let's build the app for iOS. So we're scrolled all the way to the bottom. If it works, it should scroll up to the top. Okay. So we need to figure out why it won't build. One of the things I don't like is that it's not able to find this file input stream, which I think is this in the default namespace. Okay, no such file or directory app key.properties. Okay, so that is an easy one. I'm just going to move this over here off screen because I don't want to accidentally show you guys my password again. I've had to record this video. This is the 3rd time because the first 2 times I showed my password on the actual stream, so I stopped and deleted those videos, and now we're here. Okay, so it looks like the logic that I used was actually okay. It's that our key.properties was in the wrong directory. So I'm going to back out. I'm going to go and add those changes that we had here. And this is looking good. This is looking better this time. Build failed. The production key store was tampered with or password was incorrect. Okay. So let me make sure that the key.properties file I was using was correct. It looks good, it looks good. Let me make sure I'm got the right production key store. Give me a sec. All kinds of stuff, man. So all I'm doing right now is off screen. I'm going to try to open the production key store using the key tool just to see if our password is wrong or correct. So I copied it over to my desktop. I'm going to update the location in my key.properties file. If this doesn't work, I'm going to copy over the key store from another project because I think I have this key store checked in. So let me just look at this other project. I apologize, guys, for the delay. Okay, so we were using the wrong key store. Okay, so it built. So now you can see it built, build, app, outputs, APK, release, app release. Build, app, outputs, APK, release, app release, APK. So we're going to take that APK and hopefully drag it over here. Let's find our publish. Where was our Google Play? Okay, here it is. Hopefully the drag works from Android Studio. If not, we're just going to... And it worked. Okay. Upload success. So we got our version code 2. We got our new APK. We added 0.01 megabytes somehow. We would say like fix duplicate event issue, which we didn't fix, but I'm going to go back and fix. Save, review, and then we could do start rollout to production, and then everything would start rolling out. So that's kind of a brief overview of how to publish to the Play Store. We got a little bit distracted in fixing an event, but that's or fixing the bug, and didn't actually fix it. But I'm going to go back and fix it. Thanks for watching, and let me know if there's anything you'd like me to talk about. I'm going to do probably a video on uploading to the Apple App Store. The current version that I have released right now is still in review, so once I get a version successful on the store, then I'll go through what the whole process was. Thank you all for watching, and if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me on @WhereIsDarren. Thank you.